What's going on, everybody? It's Blake Ragland here, Brad, Sean, Will. I'm sitting down with Brandon, and today we're going to go over a little bit about what the market has in store for us in 2022. So we're just going to dig right in here. So Brandon, as we get into 2022, what are some of the biggest issues that could affect the economy and the stock market?
Okay, I would say the number one issue out there, and I think this is on a lot of consumers' minds right now, is just inflation. We've seen the price of groceries go up. We've seen gas go up, other consumer products go up, and this continues to be an issue. So that'd be the number one. Number two is, will that drive the Fed to raise interest rates? So that's the second biggest issue. So those two are the top two issues I would look at going into 2022.
Okay. Well, what about COVID? I mean, if that sticks around.
COVID, we're hopeful to get some relief there, but yes, if that is a big issue that's still out there, and I'll give you another one, is government stimulus. You know, in the last couple of years, while we've had COVID, we've had a lot of stimulus. What's going to happen in 2022? Are we going to get continued stimulus or not? That could have an effect also.
All right. Well, what are your personal predictions? I mean, what do you think may happen this year?
As far as the stock market is concerned?
Yeah.
Really on a short term, and I would consider 1 year the short term, I think it's impossible to predict. Mm-hmm. I think long term, the market of good stocks tends to go up, but short term, it does tend to be very unpredictable.
Okay. Well, let's say it is a big positive year for 2022. What are some of the key factors you think are going to play a role in that?
Okay. Well, again, I think number one is inflation's been a problem and it's heating up, but does it peak and level off? Number one, because that's, I think, on all consumers' minds, is our price is going to continue to go up, and then that's going to affect again the Fed. If rates do, or if inflation does level off, then the Fed can remain dovish, in other words, not have to raise rates to combat inflation. And I think that would be very helpful for the stock market and the overall economy.
Okay. Well, how about vice versa? If it's going to be a real bad negative year, what are some of those factors?
Well, in that case, it'd just be kind of the reverse. One is that means just inflation just runs hot, and the Federal Reserve can't get it under control.
Right.
Maybe the Fed overreacts and becomes too hawkish and really raises rates too quick. You know, and then other things could happen is we could have corporate earnings not be as robust as we would like. And then another issue, obviously, that we're dealing with is just COVID, right? Mm-hmm. And so we're hopeful that it's going to start to play itself out. But let's say it refuses to go away, and worst case scenario, we have some more government shutdowns. That could really be bad for the economy.
Yeah.
And so in a worst case, you end up a slowing economy with inflation is what they call stagflation. So that's kind of the bad end. We hope we don't get there.
Well, you mentioned government. So what about politics? So November elections are coming up. Do you think that can have any effect on what's going to happen this year in the market?
Well, it's hard to say, but I would say historically the stock market, the thought has been that divided government is better for the stock market because it keeps either side from going crazy one way or the other, right? And so if that's the case, then a Republican winning either control of the House or Senate in November you would have a divided government, and so in that theory it would be good for the overall economy.
Okay.
I think another issue you brought up, government, would just be, and we kind of touched on it, is the stimulus spending.
Yeah.
Last couple of years with COVID and all, we've got multiple trillion of dollars injected into the economy, and that's kind of spurred us along. So in 2022, will we have continued stimulus? Maybe Build Back Better or some other bill? And I would suggest that if we do, it actually would be good for the stock market in 2022. Now, that's just for 2022. Long term, that's obviously going to add to the debt. It could force higher taxes, inflation later on. So it's going to have its consequences down the road. But for 2022 at least, I think it would be positive for the stock market overall.
Okay. Well, good. Well, those are really all the specific questions I had. Do you have any financial advice for 2022 for people in the market or looking to really start investing more?
Okay, so as far as investing, stock market,
yeah.
that sort of thing. Well, I just think you need to think about what's your time period. Are you investing short term or are you investing long term? Historically, in the United States, over a long period of time, good stocks that are diversified have traditionally gone up. But short term, the market is just very volatile. And so what you have to realize is there's always two groups of people in the stock market. There are the long-term investors that are in it for the long haul, trying to buy good companies for the long haul and make a good return that way. And then there's always the speculators, these short-term traders that are just trying to take advantage of the ups and downs of the daily market. So these are two different strategies. You have to figure out where you are and what strategy that you want. Now, personally, I'm more of a long-term investor. I don't really try to time the market.
Hit the home run.
Hit the home run on a short-term basis. So the biggest risk, probably I would advise, is think about what your time period is. Because when you're in stocks, if they're good stocks, well diversified, the biggest risk is time period. We never know when we're going to have a big sell-off,
right.
And so you want to be able to hold the course and not be selling these stocks when they're down. And so, if you're going to need that cash in the next year, maybe you don't need to be invested in stock.
Okay. Well, that's really all we had today. So I hope all of our viewers are going to get a lot out of this and kind of have an idea of what to expect for 2022. So stay tuned for more videos to come, and we'll see you later.